Welcome to We Know Marketing, We Promise, a podcast where strategy meets conversation. We're Naoma and Kelsey, two agency owners who live and breathe branding and marketing. We're here to share real stories, smart strategies, and fresh ideas to help you build a brand that actually works. So grab a seat and your favorite drink and let's dive in. Welcome back.
Hi again. I was taken aback by that. I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything.
I want to hear from both of us.
Oh, okay. Well, we're ready for part 2 of building out your 90-day marketing foundation. And this is really going to be where Kelsey shines because it's all about content.
But it's also about systems, and you're really good with systems.
I love
and
a system.
I'm not great with.
I love a system.
I love a system, and I love not sticking to one.
And I love getting onto her for not sticking to one. While I also send her other software.
Golly, like, stop.
Those are all the ads. They know me well.
They do. And there are softwares out there that are improving daily, especially with AI. So it's like, I just can't spend that much time researching softwares. Anyways, okay. So last episode, we talked about the first 30 days setting the foundation. So basically, we're running you guys through 90 days of what we would recommend starting marketing strategy. So your first 90 days, what do you need to do? How do you need to do it? What does that look like? And we broke it down week by week in episode 1.
Yeah.
So now we're going to do that again in episode 2, going through basically content in system phases and then how to analyze and scale as you're building this muscle, because it is something new. If you have not been marketing your business, it's new. And so you're going to have to give yourself a lot of grace and be ready to make a lot of mistakes because it's hard. That's why a lot of people don't do it and don't stick to it. Yeah. So days 31 through 60, we're talking about content and systems phase. So content strategy.
This episode is not going to make sense if you do not listen to the first one, because you really need to listen.
That's true.
Really need to set the foundation.
Yeah. And in the same note, like if you skip the foundational stage in your marketing, you're going to be in a really bad spot if you start today.
So for those of you continuing to listen to this without listening to first, go back.
Just go back. It's worth it. Okay, so content strategy.
This is where Kelsey can just live her best life.
Yeah, so you have your foundation set, and then now it's time to actually build out, how do you strategically want to represent yourself and your business? Because I would definitely tie in your personal brand as being more important even than posting a content strategy with your business.
1000%.
So let's talk about personal branding and your business brand and how to build out a content strategy for both of those.
In one episode. Maybe 2. We'll see.
It's a mystery.
Every day. Okay, personal branding.
Let's go. Content pillars.
Okay, this is the thing, is you already have the strategy. I don't.
But you know enough from talking to me, I think. And
I do.
You know a lot about personal branding because you did a personal branding workshop.
That was super intense. Yeah.
It was really intense and high level. So I feel like you have a really good grip on that. This does kind of go back into the foundational stage. I will say you need to get your profile set up. So personal branding would recommend being on LinkedIn. If you don't want to be on any other platform, I would say, depending on your audience, you should prioritize LinkedIn, but potentially you might want to prioritize Instagram or Facebook. I just don't know what your business is. Yeah. So if you are questioning that, go and research the platform though, and you can figure it out.
But either way, your profile should be optimized.
Your profile should be optimized.
Like who you are, who you're helping, what your CTA is.
Yes.
Minimum. And I'm thinking your Instagram bio is so short. So how can you really maximize that space? And then one thing that I like to recommend to all people is when you have a profile photo, use the same profile photo across all the platforms. Yeah. Even if you're not posting on them, just because if they go find you on Instagram or they go find you on Facebook or LinkedIn, they can still say oh, that's the same person, rather than oh, I went to Facebook and that photo is from 2006 and it's her back and it's the Eiffel Tower. And it's is that the same person? We never want to have that issue of people questioning if it's you or not.
Yeah. And in that same note, if you want to keep your Instagram profile private because you have your kids on it or something like that, you need to create a different profile and have a personal brand Instagram account if that is going to be the best platform for your personal brand. If you are running a business, though, anything B2B, LinkedIn's going to be ideal.
It's LinkedIn.
It will. And so getting your profile picture across all platforms, making sure the bio, the about, all of those things are coming from your clarified message that we did in the first episode. And then you want to move into nailing down what are those content pillars that you want all of your content to feed out of. So those are the foundational buckets that all of your content is going to be coming out of, so that you're sticking to the keywords and you are sharing your clarified message in a lot of different ways. So the algorithm is picking up on what you're talking about to then push it to people who are searching for what you're looking for and are in your ICP. It really, like, the algorithm is there to help you if you have your content pillars and your keywords and this strategy executing
if you're being intentional.
Exactly.
And strategic.
Exactly.
So when we did our workshop, I think it was really good because we had like the Venn diagram to help people discover their content pillars. So it was like, what it is that you do. What was the second one? It was like, what it is that you do. What is your unique point of view? Like, how do you really feel about your topic of expertise? And then I forgot the third one. Typical Naoma. It is what are your interests, right?
Oh,
so
okay,
like, what are your interests around your industry? And then in that middle part is what makes like your secret sauce. Like, what's the thing that makes you different from your other people? So if you think of those three things, that is very helpful.
Yes.
One thing that I tell people when they're starting to post on their personal, they're like, when is it too personal? Or should I be posting about my dogs? Or should I be posting about honestly, there's no yes or no. It's more about like what it is that you're doing. So does it make sense for you to post about your dogs? Does it make sense for you to post about your trip? Does it make sense to post? That's what I want to ask. And then also, you are the one that makes the line in the sand of when it gets too personal or not. I know people that post about going through divorces and have made a whole personal brand on that. I don't really share a lot of that personal side of my life, like my relationship and my child is not really shared that much on social.
Yeah.
But I'm still being very authentic to who I am. It's not that I'm hiding it. I'm just showing you more personality through the other things that I'm posting that lead to the expertise.
Yeah. And I think one of the great questions to ask yourself is, does my customer care about this?
Yeah.
Is this a topic my customer cares about? So when you're building out your content pillars, it needs to be based on what your customer cares about, not really about what you want to post and what you like and what feels good to you. It needs to be...
Do not treat this as a journal.
Right. It needs to be valuable to your customer. And so I would say sticking to those themes, those keywords is going to be essential. If education is a very important thing for your business, like education can be a content pillar. You 100%. Can do 30%, 40% of your content can be education going out. But how you batch that and how you send it out is also going to be very strategic. So it's not just the content pillars that make it strategic, but it's like, if you have 5 content pillars, how are you putting that into the plan and how are you putting that into your content calendar? Because that has to also be strategic, because you could create content, batch record all of your educational content, have all of it go out in the first 2 weeks of the month. And it's like, this is kind of confusing. It's like so heavy on education, and the last 2 months are more behind the scenes of the team or something. And it's like, no, there needs to be strategy in how you actually execute the content that you're shooting. And that's why the content pillars are very, very helpful, because you can even come up with a weekly theme of like Mondays and Tuesdays, we'll do behind the scenes and education. And then Tuesday and Thursday of the next week, Thursday and Friday of the next week, we'll do behind the scenes and educational, and then keep kind of like almost doing
like Tetrising it.
Exactly. And if it's an educational post that's a video, then maybe the next week the educational post should be a carousel.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give more variety. But those are kind of the hoops that you need to jump through based on the platform that you choose. And we kind of got off subject on personal branding versus business branding, but I do think having personal brand pillars is very, very important, and then business brand pillars, and have them separate, but they'll look very similar and they'll be very integrated, because you want to also have a cross-promotional strategy to where you're sharing content from the business page over to your personal brand. And you're also taking some of those key points from some of the business stuff, like a testimonial that you might have on the business page or a full case study video showing the work that you've done. You can then take like that over to your personal brand and tell the story behind it and how that affected you personally and how that affected your team. And you can just kind of nail it down a little bit deeper, but use the same content because it's about that same client.
I was about to say, when you pull it over to the personal side, it could really be way more story driven
Yes.
and like what you got out of it, what was the learning behind it, or what are you hoping other people will learn from your mistake or your case study or whatever that is. But I always like to think of like when I'm posting on my personal brand that if I am posting a story, what is that end like? Am I landing the plane or am I just still hovering over the city?
Yeah.
And landing the plane is like, what is the thing that I want my client to take away? Not just like, wow, Naoma wrote a Dear Diary journal like entry.
Right.
Like that's just putting out noise. That's not helping anybody. So I always think of it, and this may be helpful because I may think in a different brain, but my thought, and these may be my content pillars, is I always think of I want to motivate somebody, I want to educate somebody, and I want people to leave a little bit curious as to why they're not thinking about branding the way I think about it.
Yeah.
So all my stories kind of lean into that. Like I wrote a post about like my son going on vacation and like it was the first time I truly unplugged, and that was really more about leadership and have you taken a break and understanding that like we really need that disconnect in our brain to actually produce better content and produce better things and be better business owners, because my ICP is a business owner.
Right. Yeah. And I lean a lot more heavy into the relational side because that's how I am as a person. And so if they're going to
100%.
experience me in person that way, I want to show up authentically on LinkedIn. And so a lot of my posts will be very storytelling, tie in something from my personal life. And then I always love to do something in the marketing industry, like something, a trend, or talk about a brand that's doing something on social that I really like. And then the third one is going to be tying in results that we've seen for our clients, my team. It's going to probably fall into those three pillars every single time. And I have all of those built out into a document, but I actually just pulled up like deliverables that I give clients whenever we build out their strategy deck and that outline. And it's content pillars, it's their audience, it's their platform recommendations, it's who they are. And if it's a business, it's what they are. Format recommendations, their cadency, what they should post, a breakdown of goals, KPIs to track those goals. So those are key performance indicators that what you're doing is actually working. And then we brainstorm through some ideas on the first 30 days worth of content. And so that's basically where we're going with this, is like after you have those pillars built out and you have all those things that I just talked about for your strategy, you have your personal brand one, and then you also have the business brand. Then you sit down and you create 30 days worth of content, and surprise, surprise, it's not hard after you have that.
I will say, as a like hot tip, it may be better for you to think about 3 pillars rather than 5 or 7. Like some
Start
other
with 3.
Like some people say like you should have 7 pillars or 5 pillars, and I'm like, that's so overwhelming if you've never made content for your business. So start with 3. It's a lot easier to then mix and match, and some of those 3 can really overlap in your business, which is what Kelsey is saying, and that's okay. And that's actually probably a lot easier for you.
But it gives you structure, so you're not, even if you are having to plan a post on the day of, because let's be honest, like that happens and you're probably going to need to do that, but you have the structure to go back to, and you have a document to type into ChatGPT and ask it to help me put together 30 days worth of content and help me move these content pillars throughout the week in a way that's seamless and natural and feels organic to my personality. Because if you're using ChatGPT or any other AI software, it's grown to know you based on the things that you're putting in there. And so what would make sense for me personally, for my personal brand? Like, how would you administer these themes throughout the month? And then have ChatGPT help you build out what that content plan can be. And it will miss, like you'll have to correct quite a bit of stuff, but it gives you something, because if you sit down and you look at a blank calendar, it's overwhelming. It's hard.
Yeah.
And you're going to overthink every single post because it's kind of cringy and you have to push through that. And so having ChatGPT help you come up with those topics that you are an expert on, that you can speak very confidently on, like just go and do it, because it's going to feel cringy. But if you can confidently start talking about, like you talk all the time about brand strategy. I talk all the time about social strategy, and sharing those stories and tying in what your kid taught you this week, which happens to me all the time. It's like, I didn't love it. It was really hard for me to get over that hump. But after I did, man, I feel like my confidence shifted and people were drawn to me that actually want to work with me and that I actually want to work with. But I also stopped like putting on this show on social media that just wasn't true to who I was. And so there's also a lot of like, who do you want to be on social media? Who are you in real life? Like, ask some of your friends and family, like, how do they perceive you? What do they pick up on? Do you smile? Are you bubbly? Are you pretty blunt? Like,
I saw this reel on Instagram the other day, and it kind of blew me away because it broke down how to be authentic on social so quickly. He said, treat it like you're FaceTiming a friend. So you're not coming in like saying, I'm Naoma, Miss Brand Strategist. It's like, hey, what's up? This is what I think about. This is why I don't like this or why I like this. And
it just makes me think of Esther, my daughter FaceTimed Naoma the other day, and she's like, where is he? Looking for her son. And they're like, where is he? Where is he? I'm like, that's how Esther would show up on social media. But dude, is that not her personality?
that is so her personality. And then you're like, love this. So if you treat it like you're FaceTiming someone, that may just help you.
And he came running.
And he did. He was like, hi, like so excited, showing her his monster trucks. Like
FaceTime, that's such a good idea.
So that kind of blew my mind. I was like, that's how I should be creating content. And that's how I treat it in writing. And my biggest hurdle, as you know, has been to get into the video space because I feel intimidated by it. But when that just kind of unlocked something in my brain of saying, oh, just treat it like I'm FaceTiming Kelsey and I'm telling her, this is what Cracker Barrel just did. Da, 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 da.
Exactly.
It's natural.
Because it's so authentic. Yes. And that is going to draw in the people that you actually want to work with. And it's going to push away the people that don't like your personality or don't even like your voice or they didn't like how you did that. And it's like those small little things drive you crazy. And if you're wanting to partner with someone and not be a vendor, you need to really know that you're going to get along with them and both of you guys are going to enjoy the partnership. It's going to be so important. And social media is one of the easiest ways to like deter the people you actually do not want to work with.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the red velvet rope policy, or as Kelsey likes to call it, the red robe.
That's right. That's right. I misunderstood. Okay. I misunderstood.
That's still your profile photo.
It's the best. It's the best. Okay, so now you have your content plan. I always like a calendar view because I'm a visual person. And now we're going to kind of talk more about like establishing that rhythm. So one of the things I did talk about, or what I give people when we do their strategy, is the cadence. And that's all based off of like research in the industry and their industry on the platform, all of those things. It's a lot of factors that go into like how many times per week you can post. A lot of it is also what is sustainable for you.
Start with what's sustainable for you.
Well, that has to be one of the key pieces because if you can't do it, like the whole point of this is not to do your marketing for 90 days and then be done. This is setting the foundation so that you can like optimize scale, keep going and like do really, really well and then add in more content. Like maybe you want to create a podcast or maybe you want to increase your email list. But now that you have that muscle built for the social media content and your personal brand content, it's like then you can start adding in things. We've talked about that in previous podcasts as well. So I would definitely say I had a point there and I cannot remember where I was going with it.
I forgot where you started on that one. That was our first ramble.
Yeah. It was the I was trying to talk about the cadency. Yes. So in the format, the different formats. So each platform has different formats of content. So Instagram and LinkedIn, you can do a carousel, but for LinkedIn, you've got to upload it as a PDF. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And you can obviously do static. You can do video. Long form does really well on LinkedIn. And so you don't even necessarily have to have a photo attached if you're doing multiple paragraphs talking about something, telling a story, adding value at the end, all of that, those perform well. So there's a bunch of different formats and you need to study the platform that you're going to be on based on your time. Can you sustainably post weekly on this? Is your ICP there? Is my platform, optimized? Do I have content ready to go out? Then you can actually sit down and say like, okay, I need to do 2 videos per week, 2 carousels and 1 photo, or I need to do 4 videos for the entire month and 2 carousels for the entire month. And then I'll have a couple of days that are more free, where you can pull something off of the internet, or another person's LinkedIn post like sparks your interest and you put your own post out about that with your own opinion.
Yeah.
So you want to leave some freedom and flexibility there, but you have the structure of that content plan. Literally, sometimes we mark our calendars with like free day to do either a reshare but it gives that flexibility and it makes it feel more authentic and organic, but you're still submitting to the structure of having the content plan. So that was the main thing, was like the different formats, because you're going to get dinged, as I say, by these platforms if you're not utilizing all of the tools and capabilities that they have, and they're not going to push your content to the people.
Yeah. I will say, I think
only doing
I
one
think
thing.
LinkedIn does a really good job of telling you how well you're doing, like throughout the week. They're like,
Yeah.
you've done 9 out of the 3 things you're supposed to do, whatever.
Yeah, I remember seeing those.
Yeah, I see them all the time, and I'm like, okay. But they tell you how to reward you. So LinkedIn does a really good job. I don't think that Instagram and Facebook are all that well. I just
No.
got a random notification on Facebook that was like, hey, you post a lot. Congrats, we're expanding your reach. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that you were
Yeah, you've been
not.
consistent for a certain amount of time, though. Like,
Yeah.
it really does work that way, because so many bots get on and create these accounts so that they can cold DM other people. And
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram are trying to get rid of those accounts. And so if you're active for a long period of time, you're building trust with the platform also.
Yeah, the
And so it's
platform
going to
starts
push
to
your-
reward you.
That's right.
So-
Yeah, because you're not a fake person. You're actually utilizing it the way they want you to utilize it.
I also think there's this,
So-
like, hold on, I know.
Okay.
I also think that there's a little bit of this preconceived notion that, like, the platform is out to get you.
Yeah.
And, like, ding you with the algorithm and not know, like, they're not trying to put your stuff out. That's not the case. They want people to be on their platform. So they're rewarding people who are posting things that are engaging, that are keeping people on the platform. The thing is, like, you just have to be tweaking your content to be engaging.
Yes.
So, like that's what I'm talking about. Like, if you're doing a Dear Diary thing, everybody's like, why am I reading this? This means nothing. Unless you're doing like that hot take and you're doing like a whole mini series stuff.
Yeah.
But really thinking about, why does this matter that I'm posting it? And is this engaging for people to read?
Yeah. And that's something that I think can get lost too, is just the creativity behind what you're posting on social media. And it's like, you have all this front end work of getting, and everything we're talking about with content strategy, this should take you about 2 weeks. So we're talking about week 5 and 6 of this like 90-day plan.
Yeah.
But I would say creativity and it being a really, really good post is very important too. Like, you need to have the messaging. It needs to target your ICP. It needs to be on the right platform. It needs to be formatted correctly.
It has to have a good hook.
It does have to be entertaining. It has to be good content, or people will not care. There's so much content being posted. And that is like one of the biggest things. Like, you guys can now see how much goes into content strategy, because what we basically take is like your expertise in your industry with your business, and then our expertise with social media and our expertise with creativity. And we pull all 3 of those together to create really great pieces of content that makes sense. And we use all of this that we're talking through to create monthly content plans for our clients. And we're doing this for 15 different clients. So it's like, it's not easy work. It's very detailed, and doing it yourself can easily become a full-time job. And that's why we're trying to give you it broken down into 90 days so that hopefully it can actually be sustainable, running your personal brand and a business brand in your first few days, starting out your business, like, well, first couple of years, honestly, but then you also know it. So then you know what to expect from an agency if you do hire it out, and you can have really high expectations of the agency that you like find, because what we've also talked about is like red flags in agencies. Like, if you know your stuff, like, you're not going to be fooled by some 47, you know how much time it takes to actually build a brand and show up consistently. And then you'll start to see the rewards, and that's where it feels really good.
But I also think that, like, build the thing that you can sustainably do, because it's kind of like when if you have ADHD like me and you're like, I'm going to reorganize my closet, and then halfway through the day you're just sitting around with all your stuff and nothing is organized and it's actually a bigger mess. That's what happens when you try to like bite off more than you can chew. So think, okay, realistically, I can post 2 times a week. Let's start with that. Don't try to be like, I'm going to post every single day. I'm going to write a blog post. I'm going to send out a newsletter. I'm going to start a podcast. Like that is, you are right. You're doing that to your whole house, not just your closet.
Right.
So like, let's scale back. What is attainable? What really is attainable, and go from there.
Yeah.
Start building the muscle. I know that we talk about it a lot, and it's because it's taken me 2 years of posting on LinkedIn. This week is my 100th newsletter, a weekly newsletter,
That's right.
which I can't believe. And we started a podcast 4 months ago. No, 9 months ago. Oh my God. 9 months ago.
Where have you been?
But it has been a slow build and a slow burn. I didn't just wake up and was like, you know what? I'm going to do a newsletter, post on social, start a podcast, all the things, and run a business. Like,
Yeah,
LOL.
no way. No, absolutely not. You won't do it. Something will fall off. That's the thing. Like, you might be listening to this and be like, oh, I can do it, but something will eventually fall off and you'll have to prioritize what's going to be most important. And on that note, like now we're kind of getting more into the systems, batch recording content, even if it's just 3 videos at a time, like batch record those 3 rather than trying to record a video every single day that you're going to post.
Yeah.
That also helps you not burn out. Like set yourself up for success, plan so that you don't fail. And then if you need to reschedule shooting those 3 videos because you're not mentally able to get there, that's okay. You at least have that structure in place and you have a plan.
Yeah.
And so don't try to do the content day of, like, even if you have the strategy and all of that, there's going to be days you obviously have to do that, but try to batch record it and try to set aside. I know you told me that you get on LinkedIn for like 2 hours every morning, and maybe for you it's only 15 or 30 minutes, but putting in place a schedule for your engagement is very important too. Like where you're on LinkedIn, if you're we're talking about personal brand, if you're whatever platform it is, and spend 15 or 20 minutes commenting, engaging with posts that
authentically engaging, not like cool post, thumbs up.
Yeah, that was very insightful. Thank you for sharing, Mark. Actually have a question, like a thoughtful response. I always say a thoughtful response, like have something to say that actually brings value or brings up a different point of view to the conversation.
Yeah.
And so batching content, putting together something in your calendar for 15 minutes of engagement is going to be very important. And then on the note of email, just launching a basic sequence. There's a lot of like automations you can do around, you know, sending an email before someone gets on the discovery call. They've booked to the discovery call, so you have their email now. And if you're not getting your emails for your discovery calls, please start doing that. And then send them a follow-up email. Like start with that and then put them on a subscriber list and send 1 email a month starting out, if that's sustainable for you.
Yeah, start with what is sustainable. I did not start weekly.
Right.
I think I was doing quarterly, and then I went to monthly, and then I went to weekly. Like it is a slow build. So
yes,
do what is attainable, because even if you're like, I could do more, let's just start with that. And then you'll feel like the win. You'll feel the win of like, I did that. And now it's like, maybe I can add 1 more post a week. Maybe I can do this. You can do that, or spend time. If you're like, I have all this time that I'm, LOL, I have all this time that I could be making marketing, go and engage.
Yeah. Go spend time in the platform, following people,
commenting,
reading their stuff, seeing who you actually want to follow, not following to follow, but actually like I authentically align with them in these ways. And so that's why I want to follow their account. Very, very important. And you actually can come up and like actually find a lot of friends on social media. It's fun because I've actually
supposed to be social.
Met up with many people that I've met on social media in person, that I've met through business connections. I've definitely worked with a ton of people, Zoom calls, like be open to getting to know people and asking them questions about their business. Be curious. Like it can be really fun. That was the other thing is like, I love writing my weekly email now. It's not,
no,
it's actually so fun. It's like, and I love going to the gym now because I've worked out for 6 years. Like it's actually fun. So I get it. Like you are becoming a more disciplined person, which actually leads to more life in my opinion and more joy, because the years that I was not disciplined, like pretty much all of my 20s, I just look back and I was like, man, I was just not very happy. Like I didn't have that consistency over a long period of time that built trust with myself and confidence. And it's like I would have these bursts of like being loud in the space, whether that be social media content or whatever, but it would just fizzle out so quickly.
Yeah.
And now I don't want to do that. And I don't want you guys to do that, especially with something as important as your personal brand and your business brand.
Yeah. I always think of it like this. The best ideas don't make the business. The best discipline does.
Yeah. Consistency. It beats it. It beats volume every time.
Every time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we definitely did not get as far as I wanted to today because I wanted to talk about project management and like how to set up your social media strategy in a project management system and have deadlines. And if you have a team of people helping you, like how to know what to delegate first. If you absolutely hate writing captions, then you should delegate that first. If you absolutely hate shooting and editing your video, you should hire that first because you're gonna end up needing some help. So come back and we will jump into the rest of that. Bye.
And that's a wrap on this episode of We Know Marketing, We Promise. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your business bestie. Want more? Follow us for updates, behind the scenes, and plenty of marketing gems.